Alka. Today, we are joined with our guest, Smita Sharma. I don't know if most of you know, but June 21st is International Yoga Day, and our lockdown is over, and everybody's about to venture into the world in our new normal. We need more help than ever. So, Smita is going to guide us and show us how meditation can help and make our new normal as a more adaptable regimen for us. Smita Sharma is a yoga teacher. She's also doing Vedic meditation. She's learned from UMass. She's done mindfulness meditation. So she's here to talk to us about what we can do to adapt to our new lifestyle. Smita, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Alka. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Smita, we're so excited. So first, tell me, what is meditation? What is mindfulness?
So meditation and mindfulness are one or the same thing.
Okay.
So mindfulness is just another version of meditation. When we think of meditation, it's taken in from thousands of years of practices, dates all the way back to India, where it started. And then later on, mindfulness turns out to be a more secular form of meditation, which is more adaptive. It has less rituals, and it's more simply done. So that's basically the difference. But when you asked me about meditation, let me tell you what meditation is not, which will simplify what it is. So it's not absence of thoughts, believe it or not. It is not being calm, believe it or not. And it is not discipline. So, and having said that, a lot of people would be like, what? But that's what we thought it is. But these are just the side effects of meditation. Once you are meditating, you will feel you have absence of thoughts, you are calmer, you have discipline in life, but that's not how you start off with. So what exactly is meditation? I love to call it self-care. You know how you brush your teeth, right? You get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, it needs to be done. Why do you do that? So you don't have cavity in your teeth. But if you get up every morning or evening or whenever you do meditation, it's kind of taking care of your mental cavity, if I can say so, just to put it simply. And again, mindfulness, if you want to put it simply, it's something like noticing what's happening right now in this moment. So there's a very good and my personal favorite quote by Julia Cook. It says, be where your feet are. So there's nothing more present than where your feet are right now. So that's mindfulness and meditation for you.
Wow. So it's being present in the moment.
Yes, correct. Right now in this moment.
Okay. And what is the difference between yoga and meditation?
So, okay. So yoga is, again, meditation is part of yoga. And yoga is associated mostly with asana, like the postures part. But if you go by Sage Patanjali, he actually talks about yoga having 8 limbs, which are Ashtanga, which is 8 limbs of yoga. And these include the first 4 ones are about gaining mastery on your body, which includes yam, niyam, asana, pranayama, which is just making your body, more stable and preparing it. And then comes mastery over the mind, which includes pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, which is meditation, and finally samadhi, which is enlightenment. So yoga is the parent word, and it includes all these 8 limbs, and one of the limbs is meditation or dhyan.
Got it. Okay. And how often should someone meditate?
There's no hard and fast rule
of
how often somebody should meditate, but I would say, again, going back to my term of building it as a habit. So I would say that the best idea is to club it with something that you do every day so that it gets done. So say, for me, it's as soon as I wake up, before I even go brush my teeth, I just wake up, I sit in my bed, and I spend 10-15 minutes meditating, depending on how I'm feeling that day. And then I start my day. So when you club it into a habit, something that you just cannot go without, you will see that it'll happen easily, it'll happen often. And then slowly and slowly, it'll build up as something that you cannot live without. Just like I said, brushing your teeth, you'll feel weird not doing it.
So you mentioned you get up in the morning and do it. Is morning the best time to do meditation?
Not really. The best time is when it gets done. So it could be a morning. It could be, I don't know. I sometimes even tell people that you're on your way to a long commute, and I'm not asking you to start meditating in your car. But what I mean is that when you're on a long commute and you see a red light, use that as a trigger. So it has worked for a lot of clients of mine. I know they see red light as a good thing. So when you see a red light and it's a trigger and you look at it and you go, okay, time to take a deep breath. So you take deep breaths till the right light turns green, and then you maybe look forward to the next red light and just see it as a trigger. Again, the whole idea of meditation and being able to do it for me is making it accessible, just making it simple, making it something that just occurs naturally versus here is my seat, I need my incense candle, I need my altar, and now I'm going to meditate. That's perfectly fine too, because for some people that's how they do it. But for mere mortals like me who sometimes get lazy and we want to just, we mean well, we want to do it every day, but incorporating it in this little triggers of life, and the good thing is now people look forward to red lights. So
and it helps in road rage.
there you go. And oh my God, I was a victim of road rage. Definitely. That is so me. But now that red light is a trigger for me to calm down. And by victim, I meant that, I would get really worked up behind. My nerves would get all crazy. So now I'm more calmer. Thanks.
Nice. How do you control your thoughts? So my hardest thing is when I sit down to meditate, that is when I think of everything I have to do. My mind is racing at 1,000,000 miles a minute at that moment.
So first I would say that you don't need to control your thoughts. Like when I started off, I said meditation is not getting empty or being without thoughts or being in a calm place. It's all about first becoming very aware of what you are doing right now, that present moment awareness. So the first thing you can do is simply close your eyes or just become aware. So let me do a little tiny sampler of what you can do for someone who's never meditated, finds it overwhelming, or just wants to try it. So this is something I call it internal weather checking. So you're checking your internal weather and how things are. So let's just close our eyes.
You're going to practice this on me?
You are? Yeah, why not?
All right, awesome. Okay, let's do this. Okay.
So go ahead, close your eyes or lower your gaze, whatever you're comfortable with. And I just wanted to just kind of observe what I call your internal weather. At this moment, how are you feeling? Are you relaxed? Are you nervous? Are you sad with all that's going on around you? Or has something good happened that has just made you very happy? From there, I want you to now think of the best thing that happened to you today. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It could even be a very good cup of coffee or tea. Maybe a smile from a friend. Maybe a hug from a loved one. And think about the feeling of how it feels when you're having that happy moment, that hug, that good tea or coffee, that smile. Just dwell in it a little bit. And now gently switch your mind to something that didn't go too well. It doesn't have to be something crazy and outrageous. It could just be a very simple discomfort. Maybe you woke up a little late this morning. you were too rushed up for a meeting. And how did that make you feel? And now just come back to this present moment and welcome it with the biggest reminder of present moment, that is your breath. Nothing more present than your breath. So you just gently take a deep breath in and just gently exhale out. Another deep breath in and gently exhale out. Gently wriggle your toes and your feet. Bring a big smile on your face, Alka. Go ahead and open your eyes. And there, my friend, you just did a meditation.
Wow. I'm gonna have to just come back to reality for a second because I just went through my whole day.
Feels good.
Yes. Wow, that was so quick.
Yeah.
It was literally less than a minute.
There you go. That's all there is. It's just you in this moment, just kind of recapping what's going on, checking in with your internal weather, as I say. What are your emotions? It could be bad, it could be good, and whatever it is, just neutrally check in on it and just come back to that breath. Just take a deep breath and then just breathe out.
Wow, and this can really be done at a red light because it's just as short. I mean, it can be as short as that.
It does. It can. It could either be, like I said, a few good breaths, and then if nothing, then you have just managed to take few good breaths at a red light. And if you know it's one of those that goes on for a little longer, just and you don't even have to close your eyes, honestly, for it. You could just be aware of the present moment by just looking around, like on your sides, what people are doing. Sky, little birds around you, just do little tiny things that you would normally miss. And again, the present moment awareness kind of heightens all that for you. You just are very in tuned with the environment around you.
Wow. So is the breath important when you're tuning yourself in? Or is the breathing part very important in that mindfulness?
It depends. For some people, a deep breath could be very overwhelming. Okay. So in that case, I suggest, I usually start my practice with a very somatic setting, which means you're paying attention to your body. And it doesn't have to be the breath, but it is just, imagine it's paying attention to your seat. So right now in this moment, where am I sitting? Or awareness of the room you're in, right? And it could be a room where you're feeling distracted. Some of my clients, I ask them, teach them meditation in the middle of a busy office cubicle. How to meditate there, right? So you have all the noises. So you don't need to have that certain environment for it. It's kind of harvesting from within. Like you're literally harvesting the peace from within. And when you do that, you're just simply observing what's happening around you. What are the sounds that are coming around you? And then when you get comfortable with your environment, the next step is you close your eyes, or I even say lower your gaze, because some people get a little jittery closing their eyes. So I just say lower your gaze. Don't even have to close your eyes. And once you're there, the next step I move on to is, how about now you just take that breath? And it doesn't have to be a very intentional deep breath. It's just paying attention to your breath. And the funny thing is that when you do pay attention to the breath, it actually turns out to be a deep breath. So it's kind of tricking you into this little place where you can do it comfortably.
Very nice. So should children meditate too? I know adults, it's very common for us to say adults meditate. How early should this practice start in your life?
So my answer would be that yes, kids should. Let me put it this way. I mean, I think meditation can be overwhelming for even the adults. So with kids, I like to term it as something like a superpower. like, how about meditation as a superpower? And that always gets their attention. And then the next question is, what does it make me do? Does it make me fly? What does it make me do? And I'm like, how about this? It calms people down, including your parents. They love the sound of that. Yeah. So all my kid students, they're the most fun to work with. And when they, like, you have to give it that little hook of superpower that like empowers you from within. And obviously, once again, I'm kind of conditioning them into believing that it's just not another class that mom and dad have signed me up for, but it's something that is equipping me in a much better way, and I can use it for the parents too. So it's and with kids meditation, I feel it's a very family affair, because kids do what kids see, like monkeys, right? Monkey do what monkey. So what I'm trying to say is that when the kids see the parents meditating or parents being mindful, it'll trickle it down to them. So I always encourage that if you want them to do something, start with doing it yourself. Because anything you sign up, it'll be like, another class. But if they're like, hey, mom, what you doing? And that's literally how I got my kids into it. And in the beginning, obviously, there was like a lot of resistance. I said, I got to try a new way. So I would read these mindful stories. And mindfulness is not limited to just sitting and meditating. You could be doing mindful journaling or mindful walking. And it's nothing but just very tuned in activity. So if you're walking, you're observing your one step in front of the other, and then the next, and then the next, and then just tuning in with the environment. So little activities like this really gets the kids very interested, and they're like, okay, this seems interesting, and I'm also seeing my mom is pretty calm and not yelling at me. so that gets them quite excited, and that's where I say that create an environment in the family where you feel you can do meditation and the kids will follow suit. Or any caregiver, it could be a grandparent, or it could be an uncle and auntie, or anybody. So that's where I suggest that mindfulness can start as early as 3 to 4 year olds as well.
You must have telepathy too, because I was going to ask you, do your kids meditate, and how did you manage to do that? Because adults have such a hard time doing it, right? But obviously you figured out a way to do it.
Exactly. So if you have a mother who's a mindfulness meditation teacher, I knew from the beginning my kids are going to run away from it, because that's all they'll be hearing in the house. So I did not want to go down that cycle with them. So I was quite secret, it's like I was quite sly about it, how I'm introducing it to it. So I never called it meditation. In the beginning, when I did, it was like, but I would be like, hey, so what are you doing? Are you coloring? What kind of coloring is that? Or story times. I would turn story times into meditation. Like, before we start a story, how about we take 3 good breaths? So, and it came to a point where it became a practice. So when I'm reading with them, we all just take a good 3 breaths. And it's funny, now I have a kid who's ready for high school next year, and she still loves her story time with me, and she still takes those 3 good breaths before we read a story. So that's how I crept it in for them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, it begins at home, right? So if you're teaching other students, then charity definitely, or in this case, mindfulness begins at home.
Yep, there you go. Absolutely.
Very nice. Very nice. So when, now with the lockdown lifting and people are going back into the new normal, obviously social distancing is important, but there's a lot of anxiety. Like I have to go to dinner tomorrow. I'm anxious to say, okay, what's going to happen? And there are masks, and everybody should be wearing masks, but what if the other person isn't wearing masks? So you have all this anxiety around going back into the real world. How do you suggest that mindful meditation can help with all of us going back into the real world and into our new normal?
Yeah. I think with the given situation, there's been a lot of attention on meditation, especially when we are hit with a lot of not only physical healthcare issues, but a lot of mental healthcare issues. And we cannot even ignore all the crazy news coming out of our healthcare workers, the suicides happening, ranging anywhere from the celebrities here in Hollywood to recently in India. So these news get us. And I always say that, whenever you can start, whenever it gets done is when you start meditation. You don't have to wait for that extreme case scenario to trigger it out. Again, just like brushing your teeth, it's self-care. And I cannot stress enough on the word self-care, because if you see meditation as self-care, you will be a little more mindful about it, that this is something I need to do to build my resilience. So for example, how you've seen that punching bag, right? You punch it and it goes all the way down, then it comes up. So our mind is kind of like that punching bag. We get punched with a lot of emotions every day, and we go back and we come up. So simply what meditation does is that it builds your resilience. In the beginning, you go all the way back, but then slowly you don't fall all the way back down, and you have a quicker recovery. So I'm not saying meditation is going to take away all your sorrows and your anxieties, but all I'm saying that meditation will help you recover back from any punch that life throws at you in a quicker way and a more resilient way. So that's where I suggest that, consider doing it for your own self, for your own self-care, and treat it as something like vitamins, like brushing your teeth, like something that gets done daily. Club with something that you will never forget to check your phone, right? How about you put a little reminder for, hey, time to just sit down, take 3 good breaths, and that's about it. And that's how you can bundle it up into making it a daily thing.
So I have a question. Let's say you go out and tomorrow everybody's, like venturing out again. And I'm talking about that more so. So everybody, you see somebody not wearing a mask. All of a sudden your anxiety kicks in, right? This person not wearing a mask. What's going to happen to me? What about this? How do you calm yourself down so that you're not getting anxious and your adrenaline is not pumping?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So the first step is, I would say, remove yourself from clear and present danger, right? First, you cannot be confrontational because they're not wearing a mask. There is just a point. Just take a step back. Take a step back. Observe what's going on around you. Literally take a breath, because that controls your reaction to any situation around you. Sometimes we could be confronted in a very hostile manner, but if you just take that little moment back, you can control the reaction you're going to have to it. So that's what I say, that just breathe, take a step back, and just see is this a situation that needs that kind of a confrontation and attention from me. And number 2, is this something I can control, right? If it's you, if you're not wearing a mask, or if it's stemming directly from you or somebody you can ask them politely to put a mask on. But given the hostility, you don't know what the reaction could be. I always say, just take a step back, protect yourself, remove yourself from the situation, maybe handle it in a more professional manner, maybe requesting an authority if you see there, or requesting in a polite way. Just so you have to kind of gauge the situation at that time. Instead of jumping in and getting all worked up, you just remove yourself from there, you protect yourself, and then see if this situation needs that kind of a confrontation.
Okay. And for the people now, because of mental illness, and you touched on it, but people who have depression and anxiety, and they're obviously seeing their psychiatrist, but how does meditation help in those diseases, in making their life just a little bit more bearable? Because right now mental illness is at its peak with all that's going on around us, and just people being lonely and alone and not knowing what's going to happen, and unclear future for everyone.
Yeah. This is going to be a combination of a few things, Alka. If somebody is severely and clinically depressed, if they're not already, they should definitely take professional and medical help, no doubt about it. Again, friends, family, there are symptoms out there. There's always a sign and a signal that gets sent out by a person who's not in a good place. So be receptive to that. Again, with a given situation, people are talking a little bit more about it. I think healthcare has taken main breaking news. It's sad the way it had to take it. I wish it was there before, but I'm kind of happy to see that now people talk about mental health. People talk about what they have been through, and people are okay being vulnerable about it too and reach out for help. So I think that's a breakthrough. And now I think it's time for the rest of us to be vigilant, look out for those signs, reach out to a friend, a neighbor you haven't reached out to, check on them, and just generally be kind. Be kind. Before meditation, I think it's the behavior, just a good behavior, kindness, just simple act of gratitude can just bring in that rush of peace and calm inside you, that you just breathe better. These are all forms of meditation. Kindness is one, gratitude is one. So just be aware, know your body, self-care, tune into your own self and see, how am I doing today? How do I feel? Is it happening to me more often than normal? And be okay to reach out, talk to a professional, talk to a friend, family, whoever you are comfortable with. But self-care, pay attention to yourself, respect your body enough to know that I need to take care of it all the time.
Yeah, these are such important. That's so important. Meditation is part of self-care. And the more care we take of ourselves, the more we are ready and immune to the environment that we walk into when we go outside into the world. Smita, I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for giving everybody some strategies. I know you're also going to be starting some mindfulness meditation, right? So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, so starting next week, I'm going to do something, what I just did, like an internal weather, a simple 1-minute meditation called Mindful Minute, where anybody who is overwhelmed with meditation, has never done it before, or just want to try a new form of meditation that gets done more regularly, can tune in and see how it goes. I'm going to do it on Facebook and try and do it on other social medias too. So it'll just be a short, simple meditation and just tuning into yourself and just becoming aware of what's happening. And besides that, I also do a lot of support groups for, mental health workers and also charity workers. In fact, for them, I do it for free. I do free meditation for charity workers. So if there are charity workers out there and healthcare workers out there, please do reach out to me. And I would love to do a meditation session for your group. I also do something called Shanti, Shantea. And that's just a way of bringing people in a meditation circle together. We sit with a cup of tea and really enjoy it and just talk and discuss and meditate. So these are just these little aspects that include in your friendly circle, where you can incorporate meeting people with meditation, and just a small effort from my end.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Smita, for joining us today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This was our last live this week. As we resume our new normal, we'll be going back to our pre-recorded sessions, but we are in this together. We got through this together. Let's stay safe. Let's practice social distancing. Let's wear our masks. Let's thank Smita for joining us. Smita, thank you again. And as we get back, please continue watching Soul Talks with Alka with our pre-recorded segments. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Good night.
Thank you, everybody. Just remember to breathe.
Yes. Good night.
Good night.